Well, hello, and it's another edition of the Palace Pompa. It's a Saturday morning in January. It's been lashing it down. It's still lashing it down. It's cold. You can see my breath. And I had all good intentions of, right, I've got stuff to do. I've got the V-Strom there. I've got some lights I want to fit on that. I actually do want to do a full service on it. So I've got to order some parts. I'm going to replace the chain and all that sort of stuff. So we'll do a video on that in the coming weeks. But then we've got good old faithful Karen. Right, so this is Kawasaki Karen. It started life as a VN800. Still a VN800, but we've swapped a few things out. Tank, guides, chopped the bit off, lowered the seat. I've got a custom carved seat there. Back guard change, put that on, wrap the pipes, yeah. We've done quite a few things to it, swap the lights out, everything like that. So I've had a few issues with Karen over the last few months and through the summer. So what it started with was when we put this tank back on. I say when I put the tank back on after having it sprayed up. So we've got Captain V Hilts. If you don't know who Captain Hilts is, it's your own fault. So so we got it all powder coated, put it all back on. I've been out on a run. I was doing a charity run, and about an hour into the ride, started having issues. Anyway, I pulled over, had a look, and there was a load of fluid gushing out. And at first, I thought it was radiator had gone or something like that. Closer inspection, it wasn't water; it was fuel. So yeah, it was just gushing out fuel. Anyway, I managed to make it to where we were camping over for the night. Camped over the night, got the carb off, couldn't really do much, ended up having to get recovery back home. Got recovery back home, stripped the carb down, had a look, cleaned everything up, went back out on it, tested it, seemed to be running fine again. Same thing happened again. I was on another leg of this charity ride, and it went again. It just seemed to be when I was rev bombing it as well, which doesn't help because it has got a nice tone to it. It's loud. So same thing happened again. It was at that point that when I got it back and I started closer inspection, I realised that the breather pipe that comes down from here, when I must have put the tank back on, it had nipped it. So it was closed shut, and I think what it was happening, the only explanation I can think of is there was, because it sat on top of a V-twin and it gets nice and hot. So as I say, it's a V-twin 800. So we're getting nice and hot. And after a good run into it, that was building up vapour in the tank and pressure in the tank. Obviously, I had nowhere to go. But when I've done the old rev bomb and opened the throttle up full, I think it's just give it an outlet and it's just forced all the fuel out, which has then altered the float, everything else. Absolute nightmare. So I thought I'd sorted it, got it all again. Went on a different charity ride this time, and then it went again on me. So another day with recovery. So again, I've got it all back, stripped it all down, done it all. But then I sort of noticed and I had a thought about it, and I think fuel had got into the oil. So I've done a full oil change, and as soon as you took the the oil off, you could smell fuel. So it was obviously that. So I've done all of that. However, it's still on the test rides that I've been out on, and I haven't been out on it for a good solid test ride. It's fine once you get to 3,000-4,000 revs, but in the low revs it's missing on the rear pot. So the carb boot that goes on there on the intake, so it's a single carb split between the two pots, and that the carb comes on and off dead easily. So I don't know if I've got a bit of an air leak there that's possibly causing it. The next thing, so I'm going to check out all that. So the next thing to check after we've checked if there's a vacuum leak would be the valve inspection, which needs doing. So that's going to be to get the tank off, get all this light out of the way so we can get the rocker covers off and get at the the valves and get the feeler gauge in and measure them, which you want doing anyway. So I did come out with all intentions this morning of, right, I'm going to do something on my bike, and it's hard work when the weather's like this and it's cold and it's miserable, and it's not only that, it's a bloody bit of a pigsty in here and I've not got much room. Well, I've got both bikes in, so the V-Strom's sort of there. So I thought, you know what, let's do something and have the impetus to do it. So I did actually, you know, summon up the thing, and I got the boots on and the jeans on to get all mucky. And I thought, right, let's get out and do some. It's not good, because you can't ride it. That's the other thing. The weather's that bad, right, that you think, oh, I can't be bothered going out and getting wet through. I don't mind riding it rain and everything. It's just, you know, if you're going out for fun, it's not fun when you go out and it's lashing it down and everything else. If you've got to go somewhere, you've got to go somewhere. That's different. But when you're doing it just for a ride out for fun, it's not fun. And especially not on this. You just get drenched. It's not so bad on the V-Strom. So it was like, right, I've got a few things I need to try on this to try and get that low RPM. Because like I say, once it hits 4,000 or 5,000 revs, it's fine. So the higher revs, and it pulls like a train, and you know, and it's not a problem. It's just at the lower revs and sort of idling. I have got it 2.5 turns out on my carb, whether I just need to turn it out a little bit more, and that's a lot of tinkering with. So yeah, I've still got a bit of tinkering to try and get it just right. So I came out, I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll fire it up and I'll spray some WD around where the boot meets the carb and the intake. And like I said, there's a rubber boot that sits there, and it's just that sits on there, and there's this screws hold it in there, and it tightens up. It's a pig to get to as well, which we might show later on in the video. So I did come out with all the good intentions of doing that, and yeah, batteries. Because I'm an old chap, I'll need my glasses on. Also, out of interest, anybody who's been following my channel, I've only put a couple on this year, and like I say, we're starting it again with a relaunches Pompaw's Pallet Palace, and I am the Pallet Palace Pompaw and all that. So you know, we're new year, new start, trying to get some content on once a week, hopefully something of interest to you guys. And I did have a play with a Sony camera that I've got, which would only do 1080p. So I thought, I've got a GoPro 7 Hero Black, which is what we're using now. I've got 2 of those. So I thought, right, well, let's see if we can get some 4K content on. Now, I can do 4K. We talked about that in one of my earlier videos on the other cameras that we've got. So let's just see how we get on with this. The only problem with the 7 Black is you can only use wide angle on 4K, 2.7K on linear. So I've got it on wide at the moment, and we'll see. I might be able to bring you in a bit closer to see some of this stuff. So because I'm an old chap, need glasses on when it's close up work. So let's start. Let's get this air filter off, get the carb out of the way. Let's have a look at this boot, see if we can tighten it up, and then we'll try the spray on there again. So it's dead simple getting the filter off these. Good old fashioned, the socket that nobody's ever got. It's a 10mm. It's a 10mm on both of these. So we've got this one here. Interestingly enough, this little kit that I'm using, I bought in France a couple of years ago when I were on a trip with some pals of mine on V-Stroms, and we went and did the World War I battlefields, which I can highly recommend to anybody doing. And I do think there is some videos from back then on there. Big Boys Jolly, I think. Which I'm tempted to go back. I've still got all that footage. I'm tempted to go back and re-edit it all and possibly show it again, and put a bit more thought and stuff into it. So that's one of the things that I want to do this year, as well as you know, using YouTube more. I want to try and get a little bit better with the post-processing and the production. So apologies to anybody who knows how diabolical this is at the minute, but you know, hey, it's a learning curve and it's a hobby. So let's just get them out of the way, and that'll just come straight off. And as you can see, so this is different. This isn't the stock tank. So the OEM tank sits on top, and then there's like an air box. I don't know if you've got some silly name for it. You've got an air box that sits on top of there. I have bought some mesh to cover over there, just to stop anything falling in. I did have a bit like a scourer over there, but when I've been having the issues, I took it off just in case to see if it would help. So yeah, so we've got this. You can just literally drag that out the way. You've got a couple of parts on clips that if you wanted to, you could take it off, but that'll just pull out the way. Again, you've got this bracket, and that's what holds your carb on. So these are 10mm again. Let's loosen them off. Well, you got one on. Take this one out. It should just drop down. Like so. That gives us full access to the carb. There is a little drain on here, so obviously whether you can see from that angle or not I don't know, but this line here, that's your fuel chamber, and your float sits in this bit here. So obviously if you've got your tap on, which I have, I'll just turn it to the off position. You've got your tap on and it'll pull fuel through. So if you're going to take the carb off and start manhandling it, you get a little Allen key on here, put some underneath here, and you can drain the fuel out. So it's always advisable to do that. Should I show you that? You want to see that? Shall we do it? We'll do it anyway. So let's find the right Allen key. Is it this one? Possibly not. Yeah, it's that one. I'll grab a shot glass. So we'll just stick that underneath there. Whether you can see that's in the way or not, I don't know. Just turn that, and we're just going to drain the fuel that's in the carb. And just turn that little overflow there. Okay, so I'm going to use my phone for these close-ups. Hopefully that'll make a bit more sense to you. Let me get something to point with. So as we can see, that is the intake manifold, so that goes down to both pots. That is the rubber boot, and that is the carb, and that came straight off from there, and it should be hard and fast fastened on. So we're just going to get this boot off completely if we can. Check it out, see if it needs replacing, or see if I can make it a little bit better, because it does look like that bracket's not quite on right. So we're just going to get in an Allen key on there. I'm guessing it's this one. So yeah, we can, and that one's quite loose. And then if we can get it in there. Is that turning? Can't tell if that's turning or not. I work trying to hold the phone at the same time. Yeah, so that's turning, and that is quite loose as well. So where I thought I'd tighten them up, obviously not. So let's get that boot off. Now you can just lift the carb up, and again, here's another little tip that I've learned. So there is under here, underneath the carb, can we quite get to it? This one at the back here, where I'm pointing to, can we get underneath? So that one there is your idle mixture screw for fuel and oil. Sorry, fuel and air. However, it's a bit of a pain to get to once the bike's running. And I did even go out and buy a special tool, a screwdriver, which I've got it over there, which has got a 45-degree angle on it. And it's crap, don't work. It's hard work, you can't get it in, you can't tell if it's turning properly. The only way I've found of actually getting it out is you've got to go through all this hassle, take it off, lift it out like that, so you can get a screwdriver underneath and just turn it out. So I'm not going to touch that at the minute because I think it's right. Let's concentrate on getting this boot sorted. So let's see if I can loosen that off, and let's see if I can loosen that boot off and get it off, and see what we can see. Let's try that. So battery went dead whilst I was doing it as I was putting it back on. Anyway, I put it back on, and I just tried it. I think the vacuum's sorted, but it's still missing, so I'm just going to fire it up and let you hear it anyway, because you missed that bit. So it is still missing, but I think we have sorted out that vacuum leak. Again, it's only a subtle change, but if you're not sure if you've got a vacuum leak, just spray around there. If it's sucking that in, it's just going to raise the revs slightly. Right, so let's knock it off. So yeah, I think it might be have to get all this lot off and do the valve clearance. So that'll be another video for another day. At least I've got it out here, I've done something. So we'll tidy this bit of stuff away, and I'll have a play with this footage and see how it does. Get that door shut now. Can't get out and test it, it's too wet, no good. But I don't think it's right anyway, it just doesn't quite sound right. I have checked the plugs and everything, I've switched the plugs round. If it's a valve clearance, hopefully I'll sort it. If not, you know, it's potentially that it's a worse problem. It could be rings on that piston, valve seals, it could be a few things. I'm coming away now thinking that it's a fuel mixture because it's only on one pot, and because it's a single carb, the fuel mixture that's going out, if the fuel mixture that's hitting that pot's right, then the fuel mixture that's hitting that pot should be right. The only other thing is it potentially the coils? I haven't swapped the coils round, so that'd be another way of testing it, which again might be a quicker fix than doing the valve clearances first. The valve clearance is going to need doing anyway, so I just need to bite the bullet and go, you know what, I'm going to do it. It'll probably be an all day of a job. It's going to be a swine to get to these, but you know, needs doing, needs must and all that. Yeah, potentially I could do it without even getting, I'm just looking at it now, I might be able to even get to it without taking the tank off, because literally all I've got to do is get these rocker covers off. So if there's enough space in there, you know, potentially there could be enough space in there to get the rocker covers off. Might be worth a try. I might be able to get in to them and slide them off enough, and if I can, it's just literally filter off, undo the top, get the cover off, and I should be able to get in. So it might not be as bad as I think. as opposed to I'm going to have a crack at doing them on the V-Strom over the next few weeks. Like I say, I've got quite a few bits I need to do on the V-Strom, so hopefully if this setup's worked that I've got, then I might try doing it this way. So thanks for watching. As ever, you know, do me a favour, hit subscribe for me, hit like, share it. It's going to be a mixture of everything, a bit eclectical on this channel. Going to try and do all sorts of bits of rides out when the weather gets a little bit better. Like I say, I've got something in mind that I want to do, a bit of a series, which I'm hoping is going to be worth watching. I'm going to enjoy doing it, so that's the main thing. If I get some enjoyment out of doing it, and then if other people can watch it and enjoy it too, all the better. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching all the way through, and like I say, hit subscribe, hit like, share, leave a comment. Got any ideas, got any suggestions, even if you want to tell me that I'm an halfwit and I'm doing it completely wrong, where I should be looking. All right, so cheers. Thank you very much.